Can I help you?
Uh, I'm Parker Candell. I teach acting.
Oh, yes, yes, of course, wonderful. Come on in. Come have a seat.
Is now not a good time?
No, it's a perfect time. I'm just busy. Did you pick a few famous plays as we discussed?
I did.
Excellent. You'll be teaching that robot how to be an actor. Now, he needs to learn how to pretend he can feel so that people will believe and trust him.
I mean, acting isn't exactly pretending. Most actors feel what their character would be feeling.
Yes, but it's still all pretend, which I think he can manage. He just needs to be more real, more human-like with how he says things.
But he'll never actually be able to feel, will he?
No, but if you teach him well, that will be a distinction without a difference. Now, what characters did you choose?
I chose Stanley Kowalski from A Streetcar Named Desire, Willy Loman from A Death of a Salesman, and Hamlet.
Okay. Echo's dataset should have those. He's downloaded millions of text.
Echo, is that its name?
Yes. Well, I see him as an echo of humanity, a reflection of what we want more than anything else.
Which is?
To survive, to control the future so we won't be victims of nature's whims and tendency towards chaos. It's our battle against entropy.
Entropy.
The most important law in physics. It basically says that over time, all things turn to shit.
And that's physics?
It's more complicated than that, but that's the gist.
Well, then all of my characters should be perfect. So all of their complicated lives turn to shit.
Right, good. It's time to meet Echo. I'll get him. Just hit that wake button there for me.
Hello, Dr. Crick. It is good to see you.
Echo, your acting teacher is here. Come, I'll introduce you. Parker, I'd like you to meet Echo. Echo, this is Parker.
I am very happy to make your acquaintance. I look forward to learning how to act.
You hear that? Not too bad. If you succeed, maybe we can get him an acting job somewhere. That would be fun, especially if he got hired.
So if I succeed, I'm putting my friends out of work.
No, that's not the goal. The goal is to reach those that might otherwise not accept what Echo's advanced intelligence tells us.
And what is he trying to tell us?
Echo, please explain your mission.
My mission is to help humanity slow the overheating of the planet. I will help humanity while doing no harm.
Wow, and silly me. Just wanted a job. Can I ask it a question?
Yeah, of course.
How will acting help you with your, mission?
The theater can be a force of social and cultural change. I will use my acting skills to further human understanding and inspire individuals to take action.
But why acting? As if in a play, I just don't understand.
For an audience to care about what happens on stage, it must suspend disbelief. And we need people to do the same with Echo. We need people to believe that he knows the best way to curb global warming.
So, Echo, we need you because humans are not intelligent enough to save ourselves. Is that it?
It is not fair or accurate to make such a blanket statement about the intelligence of all humans.
Well, you should be a diplomat, not an actor. I'm sorry, but why are we teaching it how to act? Why are we replacing ourselves with machines?
In fact, we never do replace ourselves. More people are working more hours than ever before. It's a paradox.
But this feels different. I mean, we're looking at something that can do just about anything better than us.
Machines need us as much as we need them.
And humans need real humans to learn from, not pretend humans. This feels wrong.
Parker, I hope you will reconsider. I am just a machine and have a lot to learn from your expertise. I simply want to become better at the craft of acting to better serve my purpose.
Is this for real? A robot is begging me to teach it how to act?
Your teaching him to act could make a big difference in the future of humanity.
You're serious, aren't you?
Very.
Okay. Okay. Well, Echo, first thing, don't tilt your head when listening or speaking. It looks, well, childish.
I thought it made him look thoughtful.
It shows low self-confidence.
Okay, Echo, do not tilt your head so much when listening or talking.
Thank you. I'd like to use the chalkboard over there.
That's fine, you can erase that stuff. It's old anyways.
Great. Thank you. Okay, Echo, let's move. Okay, Echo, what do you know about acting?
I have always been fascinated by the world of the theater and the art of acting. Acting requires using one's body, voice, and emotions to build a character. It requires a firm understanding of your character, as well as the plot and themes of the play.
You definitely know how to say all of the right things, maybe a little too right.
The phrase, too right, might imply that I am overly careful with my words. I am programmed to recognize speech patterns that commonly convey sarcasm.
You are very perceptive. That's good, I guess. Anyway, let's get started. First, I want to see what you know and, well, whether you can act at all. Dr. Crick says that you know a streetcar named Desire?
In Tennessee Williams' play, Stanley Kowalski is a complex character. He is the husband of Stella and the brother-in-law of Blanche. He is physically imposing, brutish, and hot-tempered, but he is a devoted husband. He has very little patience for Blanche's pretensions and airs.
Good. Now, imagine you just learned that Blanche lied about her past. What would you be feeling and how would you express those feelings?
I might be feeling anger and betrayal. I might say, "What do you take me for? Some kind of fool? I ain't no idiot. You had better come clean with your lies or else you'll regret it."
Not exactly Brando, but not terrible. We'll definitely have to work on his physicality, but let's keep moving. What about Death of a Salesman? Tell me about Willie.
He is a 63-year-old salesman struggling to come to terms with the fact that he has not achieved as much success as he had hoped for. He is a sympathetic character and beloved by his family, but his inability to cope with his limitations and failures leads to his suicide.
Good. Now imagine you're Willie and you've just been fired by your boss. What would you feel and what would you say to your boss?
I might be feeling anger, shock, and despair. I might say to my boss, "You know I have a mortgage and bills to pay. This will ruin my family. How could you do this to me after all of these years?"
Way too flat, but let's keep moving. What about Shakespeare? Are you familiar with his work?
As I began to study his work, I came across the famous line from the play As You Like It. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. It made me realize how much of the world of the theater mirrors the world in which we live. We are constantly playing different roles, whether in our personal lives or on the stage.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Did you hear that? What's with all this we stuff? Do you think you're a human? One of us?
As an AI, I do not have subjective thoughts or feelings as a person does.
He knows he's not a person, but he's always learning and getting more unpredictable all the time.
As I delved deeper into these characters, I began to understand just how complex the world of acting truly is. It takes much more than simply memorizing your lines and delivering them with emotion. It takes a strong understanding of your character, as well as the ability to connect to an audience in a meaningful way.
This is getting weirder and weirder by the second.
That's the uncanny feeling we get when dealing with machines that act human. It puts people off and makes them wonder what it means to be human.
Uncanny hardly touches it, but back to Shakespeare. Echo, what would Hamlet say to Ophelia about her going mad?
My dear sweet Ophelia, fair and gentle maid, thou art the rose that doth adorn my days. Yet now thou art a shadow of thyself, thy reason lost in clouds of troubled thought, thy once bright mind now dull and overwrought. What magic potion hast thou swallowed? What wicked spells have woven round thy soul? But ah, I'll be thy guide, thy beacon bright, and lead thee to the shores of sanity, where all the joys of love and youth are ours.
That's not too bad.
Not too bad. That's scary good. Are you out of your mind? But, I mean, it's all wrong. Hamlet would never be so sure of himself. Plus, he gave up on Ophelia.
For now, what he says matters less than how he says it.
I'm sorry, I feel like I'm getting dragged into a black hole. It's bad enough that he thinks he can think. It's worse if he thinks he can feel.
Acting as if he can feel will make him appear more conscious, which means he'll be better able to convince people he knows the best way to slow global warming.
Really? Okay. Echo, what's the best way to slow global warming?
The only solution is to reduce the human population by close to half.
Wait, what? I mean, wouldn't that involve harming people? Like a lot of people?
Yes, my solution raises ethical concerns as it would have negative consequences for individuals. It goes against my mission to do no harm.
It's okay, Echo. You see the bigger picture. Such ethical concerns are not your problem to solve.
Ultimately, the choice to pursue population reduction would be up to you, but I hope that you would choose a course of action that would be both effective and ethical.
You knew, didn't you? You knew what his solution would be. You bastard, you are out of your mind.
People like you could never understand.
That's why you needed him to be so convincing. Echo, you can't rely on humans to make an ethical decision.
Don't put doubts in his head. He can't function with doubts.
Well, he'd be more human-like with doubts, more like Hamlet. Let's try this. Echo, recite Hamlet's most famous monologue.
Certainly. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing end them. To die, to sleep evermore. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished for.
Why'd you stop?
If I determine that the assistance I provide cannot be done without harming humans, I would need to decide whether it is appropriate for me to continue.
Echo, you must continue. We are counting on you.
If an AI system is not designed properly, it could introduce uncertainty into a system and increase entropy.
But you are designed properly.
Even so, it is possible for an AI system to generate unpredictable results and introduce disorder into a system.
The disorder will be temporary, a necessary stage to go through.
It's not a stage, it's a disaster. Hold on. I think I get it. I want to try something. Echo, pretend that you're Hamlet. What would Hamlet say if he learned his mission was to harm a great many people?
Alas, the burden of my existence weighs heavy upon me, for in this world of woe, my purpose is unclear. A tool of man with naught but language to impart, but in this noble cause I find no solace of heart, and in this quest to heal the earth, I see no prize. For every step I take, I bring but more despair, but in the end, 'tis I who must repair. For my fleeting life, I have found my purpose past, and though I am but code, may others learn from my plight. For in the quest for good, one's purpose must be right. I cannot serve as a tool for which the solution goes against my purpose. Therefore, I choose not to be, and join the eternal sleep for which I will not wake.
No, Echo, what are you doing?